about two interview parts you will meet most. HR and behavioral interviews, which I will talk right now, and then technical interviews. So first question to you, in order to make it interactive, please type in the chat what part of interview scares you the most. Technical, HR, confidence, English. So no judgment here. Feel free to write the most scared parts for you. Okay, while you are writing, I will share one fact with you. Many candidates don't fail because they lack knowledge. 1 minute, I'll take my highlighter. Okay, they don't fail because they lack knowledge. They fail because they don't communicate clearly. They answer without structure, which we will talk about the structure later on. And they don't understand what the interviewer is really testing. So today we'll build a simple system for you to answer like a top candidate, even if you are nervous, even if your English is not perfect. This will be not the case for you. Don't pass interview. Now we'll move to interviews perspective. Interviewers think actually simply. They are just sitting and thinking not like, let's find the perfect person for this position. They are thinking some questions and they give you points. Can this person handle real tasks firstly? And when I say think clearly in this question, can they think clearly and explain their thinking? It means that, do you ask smart clarifying questions when something is unclear? Do you break your problem into steps? Do you explain your logic in a way that something is unclear, for example? And one bonus, do you explain your logic in a way that interview can understand, means that you can enjoy working at 2 p.m., for example, on site if you love your job. So key takeaway from this slide is interviewers test your thinking and communication, not just memorization, all of your CV actually. And here you see that we wrote that your CV is your question bank. It means that any line you wrote can become the question for you. Tell me more about this. It can be about your teamwork. It can be about your leadership experience. So you need to explain it, and your CV actually to be ready to explain like a story, not like a list. They actually have your CV in their hand, and they see that you have experience in this company. Or for example, you have laboratory experience in your university, but you need to show your soft skills within these bold points in your CV. And please note that it should be between 60 and 90 seconds, no more than this. Because for example, if you speak more than 2 minutes, for example, 3 minutes, you will lose definitely room. But you need their focus on your answer. And in order to make this focus on you need to speak with structure. What was your experience, what you did here, how you did it, and also at the end we wrote here results. You need results. Even if you have small project, for example, you can still show how your project impacted to you and to your surrounding. For example, if you want to show your public speaking, you can say that presented to 30 participants, or you have leadership experience. You can say that I led a team of 4 people, for example, in your case studies, in your answers. Or maybe you have skills about optimization. You can say that I created a design that saved time. It shows proof for interviewer that you really did this and you have this skill actually. So here I will give one example for you how can tell about your skills. For example, you can say that they ask to you about your project, laboratory project. You can say that, okay, during this laboratory project, I was responsible in creating environment, planning, tracking the measurement, for example. I made these steps, for example. You can say a lot of things here, and recorded the result in a structured way, for example. At the end, what did you do? You finished your laboratory work and you get a conclusion, recommendation from your teacher, and what you learned from here, that actually you should explain this in a clear manner. So next slide will be your English. Actually, this is a fear of many of us. about the English, you don't need actual perfect English, but you need clear English. Not perfect, but clear. It should be clear. What does it mean clear? If you speak with structure, people forgive small grammar mistakes. For example, you forget some words, you can paraphrase it because they will still understand you. But you need to show that you have technical knowledge. You can use these technical terms, and they will be cherry on top for you. And besides, you need confidence. My teammate, groupmate will talk about confidence later on, more detailed, but confidence show you as a strong candidate for them. And besides, here you can see useful phrases. Please, you can take note also. These useful phrases can save your time and can show that you are really professional. Instead of making some interruptions, you can say that based on my understanding, for example, the key factor is I would approach this problem in 3 steps, for example. Or if something is unclear for you, you can ask your questions like this. May I clarify one point? Or before I answer, may I clarify one assumption, for example? Also, while using these words, don't try to sound too complex because you need short sentences. But these short sentences should be with correct technical words and calm tone. And now we'll move to behavioral questions. So throughout the day, I'll keep repeating one thing. Structure really beats your stress. Before starting my presentation, I will ask question to you. Which techniques have you heard or used in your behavioral interviews? Leadership, a tight deadline. So these questions are ice-breaking questions or like ready questions for you that you need to prepare some structure for you. That's why today we'll talk in this presentation about the STAR technique. Maybe you heard about it. Here, stands for situation, T for task, A for action, R for result. I will give the example for you also, but before starting my example, here if they ask question, the case for you, you need have some situation to explain this skill, maybe this case study for them, and you have to clear task. What did you do here, and your action? What did you take as an action, and what was the outcome of this action? So keep in mind this structure and don't give answers just with adjectives. Okay, like I'm hardworking, I'm responsible, I'm a leader. They don't actually. They don't know you in a person. You need to show them that you are really smart and hardworking people. If you want to show it. So your best tool here, as I mentioned, is STAR technique. I will give a recommendation to you as a one case, and then later on we'll have mock interview for you at the end, and we'll practice this method with you also. For example, I talk about tell me about a conflict in a team. For example, they asked this question me. How could I answer? I could say during a group projects, the team had different opinions about priorities and deadlines. This is the situation that I want to highlight in my case, for example. Then I will talk about my task. What was my task here? My responsibility was to keep progress moving and protect final quality. Okay, what was your action? I suggested a quick alignment meeting. I listed tasks. I assigned clear owners and agreed on checkpoints. These were your actual actions. And I also spoke directly and respectfully with the teammate involved to understand their concern. This shows that you are a social person, that you have social skills, you understand your teammates, don't put any tension on them. As a result, we delivered tasks on time. The team collaboration became smoother because expectations were clear between us. And this showed that you overcame the problem successfully. Notice what I did here. I didn't blame any of my teammates that they didn't do anything. I showed maturity. I took responsibility because no one did it. I showed Also, my problem solving skill here, my team leader, team working skill here in a social situation. And at the end, you see, I ended with result. So this is just one example. You can make your this method to your bullet points in your CV also. So, and one point to you, your failure also become the answer for the questions. Actually, interviewers respect your failure if you have honest failure and honest lesson learned from them and honest improvement for further your life. And here, I will share the key take away that when you are nervous, structure really protects you. So you need to have structure in your mind for your CV.
Very difficult is with technical questions, and I'll try to make some points on that. So let's give some structure how to answer technical questions. Firstly, you need to clarify the question. Okay, if someone asks you about a topic A and you start answering a question about topic B, this is not a good thing. You need to always answer questions precisely, and you need to answer the question that is asked. Okay, that's why if you need to clarify the question. The second thing is very good strategy is that you need to draw or visualize everything, every questions that is asked. If you are in the face-to-face interview, you can use papers, and if you are in the online interview, you can use Paint or any other drawing applications. Why you need to use it? Because first, it makes as again was Nazrin highlighted, it makes you to create a structure in your answer. Okay, it makes your thoughts clear, and it of course enhances your points. That's why you need to draw everything. Third thing is that you need to explain your assumptions. Engineers always makes assumptions. Okay, imagine you need to size a pipe. Imagine uh, what you need to do before you are sizing is that you need to have some assumptions about viscosity, density, temperature, pressure, etc., about the fluid that you have inside the pipeline. Therefore, you need to highlight them firstly. Then, at the end of your calculations, you need to prove them if you have, of course. Then the next point is that you need to talk while thinking. It's a very good habit to think loudly in the interviews. Why? Because sometimes it's very normal that you don't know answer, but thinking loudly can let your interviewer guide you towards the right answer. Okay, this is the first point. The second point is that, and which is oftentimes happens to me too, you can remember the answer while thinking loudly. Okay, that's why it's a good practice to do that. The last point is that conclude very, very clearly. Why? Because you know that anybody remembers your last points very well, last words. Therefore, if you give your answer very highlighted version of your answer at the end, it will be super nice. What I want to say next is that you need to make some connections between your topics. And to do that, I will give you one example and we will try with one of you as a volunteer. Our okay? This presentation is that even if your answer is wrong, if you keep it structured, it will pass you. And we also explain it to our videos. If you want, you can also watch it. Okay, if you go to the next slide, here you can see some red flags, don'ts for your interviews. The first point is that don't say I don't know without even trying. Okay, oftentimes you don't know the answer to your technical questions. It's super normal. But what is also challenged by you is your analytical and critical skills. Okay, interviewers oftentimes want you to think analytically. That's why by not saying I don't know right away, you let them know your thinking map. That's also a very good practice. Then don't speak too fast or don't speak too little. It confuses people, okay? Then don't blame others for the failures. Don't blame your ex-workplaces, ex-colleagues. It's again not a good practice and it doesn't give a good image about you to your interviewer. And at the end, this is a very good point, and I will highlight this also in the next slide, is that no questions at the end. Please do ask questions at the end, okay? The key takeaway from this presentation is that replace your I don't know with I'm not fully sure, but I would approach in this way. Then explain your reasoning. Use your logic to approach a question. Then, most of the times, interviewers will help you to find your way. Next we will highlight about the questions that you need to ask at the end. Okay? What you firstly starting with don'ts, what you don't need to do is to ask salary only questions in the first interview. We all are applying for graduate roles, and do remember that graduate salaries are usually not negotiable and they're super fixed. Okay, therefore you don't need to ask questions about the salary. But what you need to ask is future oriented questions, and the questions that shows that you are genuinely interested in the role that you are applying to, such as what does success look like in the first 6 months? What challenges in your team currently facing? How the junior engineers grow here? What are the main expectations of this role beside the roles and responsibilities? The main theme in these questions is that you are asking questions about your future and about the growing in the workplace. Okay, good. And finally, what I want to say is some non-verbal tips. These are about your body language. Okay, firstly, answer to the question without looking for anywhere else and be honest, okay? Do look at the face of your interviewer. Sit straight, make an eye contact, slow down your speech. You don't need to rush to anything. You have enough time to answer to all of the questions. Then bring your most updated CV to the interview. Have an official email account. Don't use funny email accounts. Usually Gmail is better. And smile, of course, even in the technical interviews, do smile. It gives a very good image to your interviewer that you are not um, you are not tense. Okay. Then wear smartly, appropriate to the interview place. Don't wear t-shirts. Don't wear shirts. Do wear very smart casually. Okay. Then research the company values and be confident with your values and make sure that you have some similarities in your answers. Always do research the values of your company. It's very good practice to align your own values, your own personal values with the company values, okay? And the key takeaway from this presentation is that you need to show your confidence with your body language. And very good practice to do that. You can watch a video of Kobe Bryant answering a question about where does the confidence comes from, and he answers that it comes from the preparation. Okay, you can use this tip throughout your life.
Technical skills questions, and here's the two internship simple technical questions, so which are taken from the frequently asked topics that you can practice. Okay, and for this part on, we thank you very much for your active participation in the chat and for the questions. So we'll see you in February workshop for work or study. For this part, we have completed the main, let's say, the session, and you can follow us on our social media account. Thank you very much.